The emergency room of St. Jude's Hospital buzzed with controlled chaos, a symphony of beeps and shouted orders under fluorescent lights. Dr. Elena Navarro, a 36-year-old infectious disease specialist, pushed through the double doors, her white coat flapping as she answered the page. It was March 12, 2025, and Chicago's spring thaw had brought the usual flood of flu cases, until now. The nurse's call had been urgent. Panicked? Something's wrong with this one. He's crashing fast. Elena found the patient in Bay 3, a man in his 40s, skin gray and slick with sweat, his breathing a ragged wheeze. Monitors screamed, pulse 140, oxygen saturation plummeting. Blood crusted his lips, his eyes darting wildly. Name's Michael Reese, the nurse Jen said, handing her the chart. Construction worker. Collapsed on site, no history, no drugs. Fever's 104, and he's coughing blood. Elena gloved up, leaning in. Mr. Reese, can you hear me? His head lolled, a gurgle escaping as red froth bubbled from his mouth. She checked his pupils, dilated, unresponsive. Intubate him, she snapped, grabbing a stethoscope. Lungs sounded like wet gravel. Hemorrhagic pneumonia? Too fast for flu, too brutal for anything common. The team moved, tubes and vents hissing, but Reese seized, back arching, monitors flatlining. Code blue, Jen yelled, starting CPR. Elena shocked him once, twice, nothing. At 3:47, she called it, sweat beading her brow. Time of death, 3:47 a.m., get me a full tox screen, blood cultures, everything. Quarantine the bay now. In the break room, Elena scrubbed her hands raw, replaying it. Reese's collapse was a blitz, hours from symptoms to death. She pulled his chart again, construction site near the river, no travel, no contacts flagged. Her phone buzzed, Dr. Sam Carter, her mentor from med school, now at the CDC. Elena, you free? Got a weird one. Too late, she said, voice tight. Just lost a patient. Fast, bloody, hemorrhagic, but no match. Sam paused. Describe it. Fever, cough, lung bleed out, dead in hours. No history. You've seen this. Maybe, he said, cautious. We've got 2 in Atlanta, same deal, construction workers. No ID yet. I'm sending a team, sit tight. Elena's stomach nodded. 3 cases, same profile, cross-country? She headed to the lab, pulling Reese's samples herself, a red top tubes, a swab, her gloves double-layered. The tech, Priya, ran initial tests, negative for flu, Ebola, hantavirus. Weird, Priya muttered, peering at the microscope. Cells are lysing, massive cytokine storm. Something's shredding his immune system. New pathogen? Elena asked, dread creeping in. Or engineered, Priya said, half-joking. Elena didn't laugh. She emailed Sam the prelims, then dug into Reese's background, site owned by Praxis BioTech, a pharma giant. Odd coincidence, Praxis had a lab downtown, vaccines and antivirals their specialty. By dawn, Sam called back. Elena, Atlanta's cases are linked, same site company, Praxis. We're calling it the Lazarus Strain patients crash, then spike fever's postmortem. CDC's locking it down. Your lead on Chicago, watch your back. Postmortem fevers? She echoed, incredulous. Yeah, Sam said. Reese, check him again. Elena raced to the morgue, heart pounding. Reese's body lay under a sheet, cold room silent. She pulled it back, his skin was flushed, fever hot, chest rising faintly. Impossible, she breathed, grabbing a thermometer, 103 degrees Fahrenheit. Dead, but burning up. She swabbed him again, hands shaking, and ran upstairs. The hospital was on edge, 2 more cases rolled in, same symptoms, same speed. Elena isolated them, masks and gowns mandatory. Her phone pinged, a text from an unknown number, stop digging, Dr. Navarro. Lazarus sleeps. She stared, fear coiling. Someone knew, someone watching. She called Sam, voice low. Reese's, alive sort of. Fever's back. And I got a threat, Lazarus sleeps. What the hell's Praxis doing? Jesus, Sam said. Lock it down, full quarantine. I'm digging into Praxis, off-books projects, rumors of bioengineering. Stay sharp, Elena. She hung up, staring at Reese's sample under the scope, viral particles, aggressive, unlike anything natural. Praxis's shadow loomed, construction sites, dead workers, a strain that defied death. Elena locked the lab, her badge her only shield. This wasn't a virus, it was a weapon, and she was its first target. The lab at St. Jude's Hospital was a fortress of glass and steel, its air heavy with disinfectant as Dr. Elena Navarro stared at the Lazarus strain under the microscope. The viral particles shimmered, spiked, aggressive, a hybrid nightmare that tore through cells like shrapnel. Michael Reese's resurrection, fever-spiking postmortem haunted her, his body now sealed in a biohazard vault downstairs. 2 new patients, both construction workers from a Praxis BioTech site, writhed in isolation, their lungs bleeding out faster than she could chart. It was noon, March 12, 2025, and Chicago's spring felt like a plague season. Elena's phone buzzed. Sam Carter, CDC, voice clipped. "Elena, we've got 5 more Detroit Praxis sites. Same strain, same speed. Lazarus is airborne, quarantine's not enough. I'm escalating to national alert." "Airborne?" she echoed, dread sinking in. "Reese didn't spread it here yet." "But he's active, Sam. Fever's 104 now, postmortem." "What is this?" "Bioengineered," Sam said, grim. "Atlantis sequencing shows synthetic markers, Praxis's fingerprints, maybe. They're stonewalling us, claiming ignorance. You've got the Chicago strain, keep it locked." Elena glanced at the samples, her gloved hands steady despite the tremor in her chest. "Someone's onto me, threat text, Lazarus sleeps. Watching my moves." "Get security," Sam urged. "I'm sending a CDC team, ETA 6 hours. Praxis has a lab there, dig, but don't get caught." She hung up, texting the hospital chief, Dr. Helen Ortiz, for guards, full lockdown, no leaks. Ortiz replied fast, "Done. Feds are sniffing too. Praxis ties. Stay safe." Elena's mind raced. Praxis BioTech, Pharma Titan, construction sites as outbreak hubs. Were they testing something? Releasing it? She pulled Reese's chart again. Site near the Chicago River, Praxis-owned, no hazmat flags. She cross-checked the new patients, same pattern, all Praxis workers. A hunch gnawed. Contamination wasn't accidental. She called Priya, the lab tech, voice low. "Run a deep sequence, compare Lazarus to Praxis patents. Vaccines, antivirals, anything." "On it," Priya said, hesitant. "Elena, this is big, scary big." "You sure?" "No choice," she replied, hanging up. She slipped into isolation, checking the new cases. Patient 2, a woman, mid-30s, coughing blood, eyes glassy. Patient 3, a man, older, seizing. Both crashed within hours, monitors flatlining despite vents. Elena called time, 13:22 and 13:47, then froze. Their skin flushed, fevers spiking postmortem. Lazarus was waking again. A crash jolted her, glass shattering down the hall. She bolted out, mask tight, finding the quarantine bay's door ajar. A broken vial on the floor, Reese's blood sample gone. Footsteps echoed, fading fast. "Security!" she shouted, hitting her comms. "Breach north wing now." Guards swarmed, but the thief was a ghost. Cameras blanked, a 5-minute glitch. Elena's stomach churned, someone inside. Fast, trained. She checked the morgue. Reese's vault was intact. His body still fevered, a grotesque parody of life. The stolen sample meant exposure, weaponized, uncontained. Her phone pinged. Another text, same unknown number. "Lazarus rises. Stop or you burn." She screenshot it, sending it to Sam. "They've got Reese's blood breach here. Praxis." "Likely," Sam replied. "CDC's raiding their Atlanta lab, off-books data. Encrypted. Chicago's next, hold tight." Elena paced the lab, Priya's sequence running. Results popped. Lazarus matched a Praxis patent, filed 2023, buried under viral therapy. Synthetic, designed to inflame then stabilize. A cure? A weapon. "They engineered it," Priya whispered, pale. "But why release it?" "Control," Elena said, mind spinning. "Or profits, sell the cure after the chaos." She grabbed her laptop, searching Praxis's execs, CEO Victor Lang, a cold-eyed titan tied to DoD contracts. A whistleblower post from last year, deleted fast, claimed Praxis tested bioagents on workers, unproven, dismissed. Until now. The hospital shuddered, alarms blared, lockdown lifting. Elena ran to the ER, chaos, staff scrambling, a new patient wheeled in, coughing blood, not a worker, a nurse, Jen, from Bay 3. She was with Reese, a medic yelled. "Fever hit an hour ago." Elena's blood ran cold, airborne spread inside now. She ordered Jen isolated, masks doubled, but the math didn't lie, hours from contact to collapse. She cornered Ortiz in the hall. Full quarantine, hospital-wide. Lazarus is loose. Ortiz nodded, pale. Feds are here, Praxis reps too, demanding access. What's this, Elena? A conspiracy, she said, voice steel. They made it, I've got proof. Stall them. She slipped back to the lab, locking it, Priya guarding the door. The stolen sample, the threats, Praxis was closing in. Her phone rang, Sam, urgent. Elena, Atlanta's lab had Lazarus, stockpiled, weapon grade. Chicago's your ground zero, watch Lang. He's there. Victor Lang here. Elena's resolve hardened. She needed the cure, the truth before Lazarus burned them all. The lab at St. Jude's Hospital was a bunker of flickering screens and sterile air, but Dr. Elena Navarro felt the walls closing in. It was late afternoon, March 12, 2025, and the Lazarus Strain had breached quarantine. Jen, the nurse who'd tended Michael Reese, now coughed blood in an isolation ward, her fever spiking at 103 degrees Fahrenheit. 3 more staff showed symptoms, sweats, hacking coughs, spreading from a single stolen sample. Elena locked eyes with Priya, the tech's face pale behind her mask. It's airborne, fast, Elena said, voice steady despite the panic clawing her chest. We're ground zero. Priya nodded, hands trembling as she uploaded the Lazarus sequence to Sam Carter at the CDC. Praxis's patent, therapy gone rogue. They knew it could do this. Elena's phone buzzed, Sam, terse. Chicago's exploding, 10 cases outside now, all near Praxis sites. Feds hit their lab, they're empty, scrubbed. Lang's at your hospital, with suits. He's claiming contamination, not conspiracy. Bullshit, Elena snapped. Jen's infected, staff too. They stole Reese's sample, someone inside's helping them. Stall Lang, Sam said. CDC's 4 hours out, National Guard's mobilizing. You've got proof, use it. She hung up, staring at the lab door as boots echoed in the hall, security, or worse. Dr. Helen Ortiz burst in, breathless, mask askew. Elena, Praxis reps are here, Victor Lang, CEO, demanding access. Says it's their intellectual property. Feds are arguing jurisdiction. Keep them out, Elena ordered, grabbing her tablet with the sequence data. Lazarus is theirs, weaponized, spreading. Jen's dying because of them. Ortiz's eyes widened. You've got evidence? Enough, Elena said, forwarding the patent match to Ortiz. Praxis engineered it, therapy my ass. Stall Lang, I'm checking Jen. She suited up, double-gloving, and slipped into isolation. Jen lay strapped to a vent, her skin gray, blood flecking the tube. A monitor beeped, pulse 150, oxygen crashing. Elena swabbed her, whispering, hang on. Jen seized, flatlining at 1622, then, minutes later, her fever spiked, 104 degrees Fahrenheit, postmortem. Lazarus's signature death, then a grotesque revival. Back in the lab, Priya ran Jen's sample, identical to Reese's, viral load off the charts. It's mutating, Priya said, voice shaking. Faster incubation hours, not days. Elena's phone pinged a third text, Lazarus wakes. You're next. She screenshot it, sending it to Sam with a note, inside job, trace this. Her mind raced, Praxis had a mole here, feeding them intel, stealing samples. Who? A shout from the hall, Ortiz, arguing. Elena peeked out. Victor Lang, mid-50s, silver hair, flanked by 2 suits in black, exuded cold authority. Dr. Navarro's overreacting, he said, voice smooth. This is a Praxis matter, our antiviral's ready, but we need our samples back. Lies, Elena muttered, stepping out, mask up. Your antiviral? Where was it when Reese bled out? Jen? You made this, Lazarus is your monster. Lang's eyes narrowed, a flicker of menace beneath his calm. Careful, doctor. Accusations have consequences. We're containing a breach, your hospital's the leak. Then why is it hitting Praxis sites? She shot back, holding up her tablet. Synthetic virus, your patent therapy turned weapon. Explain that. The suits tensed, hands near holsters, but Lang waved them off, smiling thinly. Misinformation. We'll cooperate, give us access, we'll stop this. No, Ortiz cut in firm. Feds say quarantine holds CDC's lead. Leave. Lang's smile faded, but he nodded, retreating with his entourage. Elena watched them go, unease coiling. He's bluffing, she told Ortiz. They've got no cure or they'd have used it. Ortiz nodded. Security's tripled, feds are sweeping staff. What's next? Jen's sample, Elena said, returning to the lab. If it's mutating, we need antivirals now. She pulled Praxis's public research antiviral trials, halted 2024, ineffective. Buried in a footnote, lead scientist Dr. Rachel Kim fired after whistleblowing. Elena Googled Kim, missing since last year, had claimed Praxis tested bioagents on workers. Rachel Kim, Elena murmured, texting Sam. Check Kim, Praxis whistleblower, Lazarus link? Sam replied fast, on it. Atlanta found her notes, encrypted, mentions Lazarus project. You're close, too close. Guard up. A crash outside, glass shattering. Elena ran to the window, black SUVs screeched off, a guard down, blood pooling. They're hitting back, she told Priya, locking the lab. Lang's not waiting. Her phone rang, unknown caller. She answered, wary. A distorted voice, Lazarus spreads. Give us the data, or St. Jude's burns. Click. Elena's resolve hardened. Praxis wasn't just covering, they were escalating. She needed Kim's truth, before the hospital, and the world, fell. Night-cloaked St. Jude's Hospital in a tense hush, broken only by the wail of distant sirens and the hum of overworked vents. Dr. Elena Navarro stood in the locked lab, her gloved hands steady as she ran Jen's mutated Lazarus sample through the sequencer. It was past 8 p.m., March 12, 2025, and Chicago's outbreak had spiraled, 20 cases citywide, all tied to Praxis BioTech sites, now spilling into the hospital. The distorted voice's threat, give us the data or St. Jude's burns, echoed in her mind, a clock ticking down. Outside, a guard lay dead, Praxis's warning shot. Priya hovered over the screen, her mask fogging. Mutations accelerating, incubations under 2 hours now. Airborne ranges wider, dozens exposed here. Elena's stomach twisted. Reese, Jen, now this Praxis isn't containing, they're unleashing. She pulled her phone. Sam Carter's last text. Rachel Kim's notes cracked. Lazarus project. Bioweapon, worker trials. Praxis buried it. CDC's 2 hours out. 2 hours felt like years. A thud rattled the lab door, metal on metal. Elena grabbed a scalpel, Priya clutching a clipboard. Security, Priya whispered. Or them, Elena said, peering through the glass. Shadows moved, 2 figures, black-clad, no badges. Not feds. She hit her comms. Ortiz, North Lab, intruders now. Static, then Ortiz's voice, strained. Guards are down. Praxis reps bolted. Feds are pinned at the gate. Help's coming, hold on. The door buckled, a pry bar wedging through. Elena shoved Priya behind a centrifuge, scalpel ready. Data tablet now, she hissed. Priya handed it over, Lazarus sequence, Praxis patent, Kim's notes. She zipped it into her coat as the door crashed open. 2 men stormed in, masks, tactical gear, one with a silenced pistol, the other a syringe. Dr. Navarro, the gunman rasped, voice muffled. Data, or your patient zero. Elena lunged, slashing at the syringe man, blood sprayed. He staggered. The gunman fired, silenced shots pinged off steel, missing as she dove behind a bench. Priya swung the clipboard, cracking the gunman's mask. He grunted, backhanding her into a wall. Elena tackled him, scalpel to his throat. Who sent you? Praxis, he choked before elbowing free. She stumbled, he aimed, but a shout froze him. Feds breached the hall, guns drawn. Drop it. The intruders bolted, vanishing through a shattered window, glass crunching underfoot. Elena helped Priya up, her friend dazed but alive. Thereafter the data, Priya gasped, clutching her head. And us, Elena said, retrieving the tablet intact. Feds swarmed in, Agent Torres leading, a wiry man with sharp eyes. Navarro? CDC's briefed us Praxis is rogue. Lang's gone dark, city's locking down. They hit us, Elena said, handing him the tablet. Lazarus is theirs bioweapon, mutating. Kim's notes prove it. Torres scanned it, grim. We've got her, alive, hiding. She's en route, ETA 1 hour. Hospital's a war zone, staff dropping, 10 more cases. Elena's heart sank. Quarantines breached, airborne spread. We need antivirals now. Working it, Torres said, radio crackling. Praxis Labs next, National Guard's raiding. Stay here, armed guard. No, Elena cut in. I'm meeting Kim, she's the key. Lang's escalating, hitting us to bury this. Torres hesitated, then nodded. Escort 2 agents. Lab sealed, go. Elena grabbed Priya. Stay, run samples, find a weakness. Priya nodded, shaky but resolute. Elena suited up, mask, gloves following Torres's men to a back exit. SUVs waited, city lights flickering as power faltered, Lazarus's chaos spreading. They drove to a safe house near the river, a drab warehouse cloaked in shadow. Inside, Dr. Rachel Kim waited, early 40s, gaunt, eyes haunted. "Navarro?" she asked, voice raw. "You've seen it, Lazarus." "Up close," Elena said, sitting across. "Your notes, bioweapon, worker trials." "Why?" Kim exhaled, trembling. "Praxis wanted a dual-agent virus to cripple, cure to sell. I designed it, therapy first, but Lang twisted it. Tested it on workers, construction sites, low-risk zones. It backfired, mutated, uncontrollable. Cure." Elena pressed. "Exists," Kim said. "Prototype VX-19 in their Chicago lab. I hid the formula encrypted here." She tapped a flash drive, handing it over. "They fired me, hunted me, wanted it dead." A crash outside, tires squealed, gunfire popped. Agents shouted, "Ambush." Elena dove, pulling Kim down as windows shattered. Black-clad figures stormed in, Praxis's muscle, relentless. Torres fired back, an agent dropping. Elena clutched the drive, Kim's lifeline. Lang's endgame closing in. The safe house near the Chicago River erupted into chaos. Glass raining down as Praxis's black-clad enforcers breached the warehouse. Dr. Elena Navarro crouched behind a crate, Dr. Rachel Kim beside her. The flash drive with the VX-19 cure formula clutched in Elena's hand. Gunfire cracked overhead. Agent Torres and his team returned shots, one Fed already down, blood pooling on the concrete. It was nearing midnight, March 12, 2025, and the Lazarus Strain's shadow stretched across the city. Hospitals overrun, streets locked, death toll climbing. Praxis wasn't just covering tracks. They were erasing witnesses. "Stay low," Elena hissed, shoving Kim toward a back wall. Torres yelled, "Fall back. Exits east." Bullets pinged off steel, a Praxis thug advancing, silenced pistol, cold precision. Elena grabbed a fallen agent's gun. Unfamiliar weight, but she aimed, firing. The shot went wide, but the thug ducked, giving Torres an opening. He dropped him with a headshot. "Move!" Torres barked, waving them to a side door. Elena hauled Kim up, sprinting as the second enforcer lobbed a flashbang. Light seared, sound deafening. She stumbled, ears ringing, but pushed through, Kim gasping beside her. They burst into an alley, Torres behind, slamming the door shut. An SUV screeched up, CDC backup. Sam Carter leaping out, face grim. "Elena, Kim, get in," Sam shouted, gun drawn. They piled in, tires spinning as Praxis gunfire chased them, bullets denting the hull. The driver, a CDC agent, Stern, swerved through deserted streets, city lights dim under curfew. "VX-19, Elena said, handing Sam the drive, breathless. "Kim's cure, Praxis has it stockpiled, Chicago lab. We need it now." Sam plugged it into a laptop, scanning. "Encrypted, Kim, key? Resurrection?" Kim rasped, wincing as Torres bandaged a graze on her arm. "Lang's joke. Lazarus rises." Sam typed, "Files unlocking VX-19. Antiviral targets synthetic receptors, 90% efficacy in trials." "This could work," he said. "Chicago's labs locked, guards raiding, but Lang's gone underground." "They hit St. Jude's," Elena said, voice tight. "Stole samples, threatened me, inside help. Jen's dead, staff dropping, mutations out of control." Sam nodded, grim. "Cities at 50 cases, spreading beyond Praxis sites. Airborne's confirmed, hospitals, buses, guards distributing masks. But we're losing." The SUV jolted, rear tire blown, a black van ramming from behind. "Praxis!" Torres yelled, firing out the window. Elena ducked, Kim whimpering as glass sprayed. Sam floored it, weaving through alleys, the van relentless. Tinted windows, no plates, a ghost hunting them. "Hold on," Sam shouted, cutting into a parking garage, tires squealing. The van followed, clipping a pillar, metal crunched, it spun out. Sam gunned the engine, escaping to a side street, Praxis's shadow fading, for now. They stopped at a CDC outpost, a clinic turned command, guards posted. Inside, Sam decrypted VX-19 fully, chemical specs, production notes. Small batch exists, Kim said, voice hollow. Lang kept it, leverage. Lab sublevel, Vault B3. Lazarus's spread, Elena urged. We hit the lab tonight. Guards too slow. People are dying. Sam hesitated, then nodded. Torres, you're with us, four-man team, in and out. Elena, Kim, guide us. They geared up. Masks, vests, Elena's hands shaking as she gripped a pistol. The Praxis lab loomed downtown, a sleek tower dark under lockdown. Guard units circled, but sublevel access was a back hatch, Kim's intel. They slipped in, alarms silent, too quiet. Flashlights cut the gloom, offices, labs, then stairs descending to B3. The vault door was steel, keypad locked. Codes March 12, 25. Kim whispered, today's date, Lang's arrogance. Clicked open, revealing racks, vials glinting, VX-19 labeled, enough for hundreds. Elena grabbed a case, but a shadow moved, Victor Lang, alone, pistol raised. Too late, Navarro, Lang sneered, silver hair glinting. Lazarus is prophet, chaos, then cure. You're the pest. You're killing thousands. Elena shot back, pistol up. For what money? Power, Lang said, stepping closer. Governments pay for control. Lazarus delivers. Drop it or die. Torres lunged. Lang fired, grazing his shoulder. Elena shot. Bullet hit Lang's arm. He dropped, cursing. Sam tackled him, cuffing him as Kim grabbed more vials. Go! Sam yelled, alarms blaring, Praxis security triggered. They ran, vault case heavy, Lang's shouts fading. Outside, guard units swarmed, taking Lang bloody, defiant. Elena handed VX-19 to Sam, panting. Distribute fast. It's not over, Kim warned, eyes dark. Lazarus mutates. VX-19's a start, not the end. Elena nodded, resolve stealing. The cure was theirs, but the strain's heart still beat. The Praxis BioTech lab faded into Chicago's pre-dawn haze as Dr. Elena Navarro clutched the case of VX-19 vials, her breath fogging the cold air. It was March 13, 2025, just past 2 a.m., and the city teetered on collapse. Hundreds infected with the Lazarus strain, hospitals swamped, streets eerily silent under martial law. Victor Lang, Praxis's CEO, lay cuffed in a National Guard truck, his arm bleeding from Elena's shot, his smug defiance cracked but unyielding. Sam Carter and Dr. Rachel Kim flanked her, the CDC outpost ahead, a lifeline against the virus's relentless spread. Inside the clinic, Sam handed VX-19 to a hazmat-clad team, barking orders. Mass production now. Hospitals first, then shelters. Move. Elena watched the vials vanish into a centrifuge, her hands still trembling from the lab fight. Agent Torres, shoulder bandaged, coordinated guard units. Praxis's tower was locked, Lang's empire crumbling. It's not enough, Kim said, voice hollow beside Elena. Lazarus mutates, VX-19's a stopgap. Lang planned this, chaos, then control. Elena's jaw tightened. He's down, we've got the cure. How fast can it spread? Days, Sam cut in, joining them. Guards airdropping doses, city's priority. CDC's sequencing mutations gen sample shows a shift, less lethal, more contagious. We're racing it. Elena's phone buzzed. Priya from St. Jude's, voice faint. Elena, it's working. VX-19 stabilized 2 staff. But we've got 50 cases, 10 dead, 5 waking. Lazarus keeps going. Waking? Elena echoed, dread coiling. Post-mortem fevers? Yeah, Priya said. We're dosing them, slows it, but doesn't stop. You. Safe, Elena lied, glancing at Kim. Hold the line, more's coming. She hung up, mind-racing. Lazarus's resurrection trick, a synthetic curse Praxis unleashed. Lang's words, governments pay for control, hinted at buyers beyond profit. Kim, Elena said, turning. Who else knew? Lang can't run this alone. Kim hesitated, eyes darting. The Lazarus Project, DoD contracts, off books. I saw emails. Client X, overseas, wanted weapon grade. Lang delivered. I didn't know till too late. Overseas? Sam snapped, overhearing. We've got Lang's drives, feds are cracking them. If this leaks globally, it already has, Elena said, grim. Construction sites, Detroit, Atlanta, here. Test zones. Client X could have samples. A commotion outside, guards shouting, engines revving. Torres bursting. Lang's gone, transport ambushed, 3 dead. Black van, no trace. Elena's blood ran cold. Praxis or Client X. They've got him and maybe more Lazarus. Sam cursed, radioing CDC command. Lock borders, air, sea, everything. Lang's a biohazard. He turned to Elena. VX-19's rolling, your call, Navarro. St. Jude's, she said, resolve hardening. I'm dosing there, ground zero. Kim, you're with Sam, find Client X. Kim nodded, handing Elena a spare drive copy. VX-19 specs backup. Don't die. Elena took it, joining a guard convoy back to the hospital. Dawn broke gray as they arrived, St. Jude's a fortress, staff in hazmat, patients spilling into halls. She distributed VX-19, injecting Jen's waking corpse. Fever dropped, pulse steadied, a miracle amid madness. Priya hugged her, tears streaking her mask. You're insane, but it's working. Lang's loose, Elena warned, dosing a coughing nurse. This isn't over. By noon, cases plateaued, VX-19 curbed the spread, though mutations lingered, weaker but persistent. Sam called, Lang's drives revealed Client X, a shadowy Eurasian syndicate, bioweapons buyers. No Lazarus stockpiles found, he said. But Lang's their key, hunting him now. Elena stood in the ER, exhaustion crashing. Reese's death sparked this, Praxis's greed, a virus born to kill and rise. She'd stopped the blaze, but embers smoldered. Lang, Client X, a 4th text she'd ignored. Lazarus lives. Watch the skies. Weeks later, Chicago healed, VX-19 mass-produced, Lazarus fading, a vaccine in trials. Lang vanished, a ghost in the wind, Client X silent. Elena returned to St. Jude's, charts clear, but kept Kim's drive insurance against shadows. Priya teased her, Hero Doc, retire yet? Not till it's dead, Elena said, staring out at the river. A plane droned overhead, too low, too quiet. She gripped the drive, the thrill of survival laced with dread. Lazarus slept, but its makers didn't.